It's Nadine. Welcome to Notable Quotables, where we spotlight your favorite motivational quotes from the Yogi MD podcast. Today, my guest is none other than my sister Daphne Bishop, commenting upon the previous episode, Better Sleep for Teens, with Dr. Cara Ooi, my daughter Lizzi, and my nephew and her son Alex.
It was a really good episode because, as you know, I've been feeling just a lot of distress over my son, Alex, and his sleep, especially during the last year of the pandemic. Like I would just find him sleeping in the middle of the day. I was like, when is he sleeping? Um, I think everything kind of came to a head when I got a text or I got an Amazon request or something from him, and it was like 3 in the morning, and I was like, something needs to change. And so I tried a few things. I got this app that I could use to shut his Wi Fi down at a certain point in the night. He didn't love the idea at first, but then once I did it, he told me, oh, yeah, I think it's a good idea because it forces me to get offline. He did find a way around it. He found a loophole that he ended up telling me about, but it was much later because I think I kind of suspected. And so I asked him, and he was totally honest. And he was like, are you mad at me? And I said, no, I'm not mad. But now that I have that knowledge, I think I need to close that loophole when school starts again. But it was just interesting listening to him talk about it and to him talk about um, the cycle that he was in of just staying up late and not being able to get up for school or having a hard time. It's a bit rough, to hear that from your kid. I mean, and you know that there's an issue. But I thought that the doctor's expertise was very interesting. It made me feel like, okay, this is not just a problem that we're experiencing. This is something that sounds kind of typical because I saw a lot of our struggles in what she was saying, just about the cycle of staying up all night or staying up late and having a hard time to get up. One thing that really, really struck me was when she talked about having a reason to want to wake up in the morning. And I don't think he had much of a reason to want to wake up in the morning. And so um, I think that just really contributed to it because it was his first year of high school, done completely online. And he didn't know anybody. It was a new school. He didn't know anybody. It was just completely disconnected from from everything. So I can get why, I understand why he was not, that was not something that he was, raring to get up for in the morning. And hopefully that will, things will improve this year when he can go back to school in person and he'll have a reason to want to get out of bed in the morning. Because, man, I tried everything. Even maybe about halfway through the school year, I started making him these really amazing breakfasts and taking it down to him when it was time for him to get up. And I don't think that I was, my reason for doing it was that, I didn't think he was really eating very much or feeding himself. And that must have been contributing to him having a lack of energy and lack of focus at school because I was like, how can he function all day without eating? And my kids have been feeding themselves for years, but I reverted back to what I used to do for them when they were little. And I started making breakfast, and I was like, at least I can get a good meal in him in the morning and know that he's had something, some protein, some produce. And so I started making these really elaborate breakfasts like omelets, and I'm air frying potatoes and putting fruit on the side and these really pretty plates like you'd see in a diner. And I thought, is that Spoiling him, I don't know, maybe or maybe not. But what I do know is that when I would bring him a plate of food with something that he really liked, that he would get up, he would be like, ooh. And so I think that helped to give him, some motivation to wake up. I also tried the alarm clock that gradually brightens up, because I thought that would be helpful in a way to do it and kind of help him wake up and take us out of the picture. But I thought it was funny that he talked about how much he hates it, because he does hate it. Um, but I think it is helpful, So I think I'm gonna try to reinstitute that as well when school starts. I think what he really hated was that there is like bird chirping sounds to go along with it. So I think he really didn't like the sound effects, and so we can tweak it. I paid like 100 something bucks for this clock. I think that we should get some use out of it. Um, and also, a lot of the things that the doctor talked about was, there are things that we've tried, like that we've told him, you can't sit in your really dark bedroom all day. Like and I would tell him over and over again, if I tried to do work from bed in a dark room, there's no way I would be able to stay up. But, Alex being kind of stubborn, to say the least. He, really resisted us on having light in his room. But I just really hope that with the move back to school, that will help to alleviate a lot of those issues. Because if he has to be on a school bus at a certain time to get across town, because he chose to go to the school that's across town, then, and I'm not going to drive him every morning. And so, he's going to have to be able to get up in the morning. But like I said, I hope that means that he will have more motivation. Another thing that really struck me was about putting less focus on the nagging, kind of part, and just really focusing on having that connection so that you can be influential. And I think I do that. I really do try, to have quality time with him. That's something that I would try during the whole shutdown period. Like, he likes to go bike riding. And, like, the two of us have gone for, some good walks. When I can coerce him to go hiking with me, it's like a fun time. Um, Oddly enough, though, I realized that one of the times that he and I are really able to bond and talk is when we're in the car together. But we weren't in the car together that much because of COVID. So I think that we kind of lost out on some of that. But I will continue to find ways to connect with him so that I can be influential, so that I am somebody that he wants to listen to.